these bowl games that are not the playoffs, they're basically exhibition games now. If you're getting paid, you should play the games if you're not injured. This is not amateur athletics anymore. Their big fat fucking coach, Brett Bielema, and he's a fucking cow. Okay, I didn't really give two shits one way or the other before, but now I'm gonna root against any team that plays Illinois for as long as he's the coach there. Coaches are allowed to taunt without penalty? Since when? Just a little reflection on this past year. I have to say that it was a great year. It was also an incredibly hard and difficult year. I don't want anybody to say, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Troy. No, divorce is the greatest thing. What would be even better would be for it to be final. You know, in the summer, I had my knee and recovering from that at 56 fucking years old, getting COVID and almost dying. And then later on in the fall, you know, I had a best friend that died this year as well. So, like, I get to the point real quick. There's no bullshit with me. I don't have time to fuck around. And with time and that, I hate nothing more than wasting time. So it's a lot like working out. You have to be, when you first work out, you're going to put in that hour and a half, and you're going to look in the mirror and you're not going to see anything. We're doing it without the results, believing in the process that if we continue to put in the work, there will be a reward for that down the line. That bitch that called me a degenerate gambler earlier this year, whatever her name was, I wear that badge right next to the one where Biden called me garbage. People will say all the time, I don't want that stuff made in China. Well, you know what is made in China? I've told y'all before, if you've listened, is the raw materials. I'm not monetized. Yeah. I'm hustling for everything.
There's a big difference.
And actually helping people improve their lives. You know, this is the journey that God has me on, and it's things that I think that I'm supposed to do. So, like, I don't do everything for money. St. Patrick's Day, which real alcoholics call St. Practice Day. Like, we like to get drunk too. Doesn't end well unless it ends. Can't just report the fucking obvious.
I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and
Just
run
a
it all,
motherfucking jump. Just go. Let's fucking go. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I am your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy. And the other fucking guy joining me actually, we're doing this on New Year's Day.
Hey.
How fucking crazy are we?
2025.
First podcast of the new year.
Yes, sir.
Did you see yesterday we crossed 300 subscribers, and just a couple weeks ago we were at 222.
Yep.
That's me dragging people into this show.
Exactly what
I'm
it is.
literally dragging people
100% what it
to
is.
the podcast. Whatever I have to do, that's how dedicated I am to doing it.
No, it's awesome to see, honestly, because like at first it was a little discouraging at first. I'm not gonna lie, seeing the numbers climb a little bit slowly, but you know, I'm not coming back to the realization that, like we said, like that 2, 3, 4 year like kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the way I see you kind of like moving people over from one place to another, I feel like that number might come a little quicker than we expect.
I am going to do everything in my ability to make that happen. And the feedback from people who do actually listen has been, you know, really good too. Yeah. So
this last, I don't know if you got a chance to watch yesterday's episode, but I enjoyed watching that episode. It was a really good.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet. Yeah, yesterday was a little busy. Dude, even at the game last night and today, remember when I told you the only fucking day I get off is Christmas?
Yeah.
I think one person did text me about asking for instructions on something on Christmas Day, and I just rolled my eyes.
It's like, what are you talking to me right now?
But last night, I'm like, do y'all know, like, what fucking part of the country are you in? Because, you know, the game... Dawn and I went to the Fiesta Bowl game.
Yeah.
Right. And it started at 5:30 Arizona time.
Arizona time, 5:30. Okay.
Yeah. So it's 7:30 on the East Coast.
Yeah. It's not.
And it was the only game. Okay, so there's 4 quarterfinal games, and last night was the first one, and then 3 are played today.
Okay.
And one is already just started, which is Texas and Arizona State.
Ooh, that's actually going to be a really good game.
I think so. I'm excited to see that. And I'll rewind to the beginning, and I'll watch I'll watch all 3 games today. I love football.
You have a quick prediction on that one? Arizona or Texas?
I took Arizona State.
Yeah.
I took Arizona State, but like I've been doing really good and then not so good, and then you know how my betting is gone, but I finally think I broke through.
Okay.
But I'll
get to that in a little bit.
We'll get to that in a minute. So, yeah, we had just a great time, but you know, like 6:30 is like, what? It's New Year's Eve. What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Because like wherever you're at, it's like 9 o'clock. Why on New Year's Eve? And but they did. And you know me, I answered.
Yeah, knowing you, honestly.
I did. I'm not gonna lie. I did. I answered. And we really had a really, really good time at the game. That was Dawn's first bowl game.
Okay.
Now, I've been to the Fiesta Bowl before.
Okay.
And that was years and years ago, over 20 years ago. I went to the Fiesta Bowl when it was considered the national championship game at the time between Ohio State and the University of Miami. And Ohio State won in overtime, I believe it was.
That was a good game to
attend. It was a great game to attend. And it was in Tempe. It was at ASU Stadium because State Farm Stadium did not exist. I can tell you that, you know, since obviously not my first game at State Farm Stadium because we go see the Cardinals play there.
Yeah.
Way more comfortable than ASU's. Yeah, way more comfortable. And I was even there last year. I saw Colorado and Arizona State play at Arizona State. So, but it'd been a while for a Fiesta Bowl, and
how was the crowd?
The crowd was great. A lot of Boise people, and a good number of Penn State. But I would say more Boise State than Penn State.
Really? Okay.
But the Penn State people that were there were loud as fuck, man. They did a good job, their fans. That was really good. And, you know, they won the game. I thought it was competitive.
Okay.
Boise State could have done a little bit more and just some mistakes, and it's just the kind of mistakes you can't win. And
keep doing.
Well, first, missing field goals and boinking them off the poles. And then the other thing that's driving me nuts lately, both pros and college, these penalties.
A lot of penalties.
Of penalties. And Dan Campbell, the coach of the Lions, said the other night that there's certain things that are within the player's control that don't take any talent.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't take any talent to line up so that you're not offsides.
Yeah, it's kind of like the basics.
Yeah. Or like so many illegal procedures. Or, you know, illegal formation. No, this is fucking end of December, January.
Like
That's the shit you've practiced in camp in August, and you're still doing that dumb shit. And it was a lot. It really affected the game and the outcome, and just unnecessary mistakes. And that's not the other team stopping you. That is literally you doing stopping you. So.
Yeah, that's.
I will say this. The one thing I am frustrated. I'm frustrated about 2 things.
Okay.
Because I bet, and they want people to bet whatever they say. There's a shit ton of money in it.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I know that.
Because ESPN has their own app, right, and everything. So everybody wants people betting. Well, these bowl games that are not the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're basically exhibition games now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to bet on an exhibition. I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm never betting on an exhibition game like that again.
Is there a reason why? Or
yeah, because like the number of players being out of the game.
Gotcha.
I mean, now Michigan beat my Alabama, and congratulations for them on doing that. I don't know how that happened. And it really was a good victory for them because they were without 20 or 30 players. Oh, yeah. It was a big number that didn't play. Dude, it was the list. All I know is the list was long. It was a long list, right?
Yikes. Okay.
Yeah, that kind of shit.
So do they do it on purpose then, just to like rest players and stuff like that?
No, they're doing it. Players are choosing it because they're either going into the portal and they're going to change teams.
Gotcha.
Or they're going to be going into the NFL and they don't want to get hurt.
Gotcha.
And it's not a playoff game, so it doesn't really matter why get hurt. But it's different than what it used to be. I would understand under the old rules and how things were, but the players get paid now.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying they didn't get paid before under the table, but not to the extent and the money that's available now. And if you're getting paid, you should play the games if you're not injured, or your money should be affected
some way, shape, or form.
Some way. You got to change the incentives because, again, I understand the player's point of view.
Yeah,
but it's not right. It's not right.
It's like going to work
because that school is giving you the opportunity is almost a professional farm club now. That's basically what college sports are.
Yeah.
They're giving you an opportunity to showcase your skills for that professional level.
Yeah.
And it used to be, you know what an amateur was? An amateur was somebody who didn't get paid.
Yeah. Yeah, they were
How did you know you were a professional at something?
You're getting paid for it.
You got paid for it.
Yeah, 100%.
So this is not amateur athletics anymore.
No, it hasn't been for a while, no.
No.
Yeah.
No. So they should play. And so the betting and stuff, it's just ridiculous like that. So
I don't know if you would know this, but do the betting places take that into consideration, like the lineups and stuff like that?
Yeah, they take that stuff into consideration.
Okay.
Just like they do injuries and other things like that. But it's just hard to know.
Yeah.
It's just really, really hard to know.
I mean, when you're missing 20 to 30 players off your roster, it's kind of a coin toss at that point, honestly.
Exactly. Which is why I really am stumped as to why Alabama lost. Well, I know why Alabama lost. It was Milroe, the quarterback. He's just regressed all year. Like last year,
really?
Regressed. He's gone backwards. Yeah, I'm cool with him being gone. I'm done with that. Like that was such a frustrating season to just end like they did, and I put partly on the coach.
Okay,
the new coach. And Nick Saban didn't do well his first year at Alabama. Nick Saban inherited a shit team.
Yeah.
This guy didn't inherit a shit team. Now, you have the portal, and some kids left when Nick Saban left and all that. Okay, but every team has to deal with the portal now. You're fucking Alabama.
One of the top well-known
that
teams.
Attracts people, just that. Yeah, the coach can attract people, but also the school, and because of how many people they send to the NFL, just like Georgia.
Yeah. I mean, that's the number one thing that attracts players, right? It's like, oh, you have a better chance of getting into the NFL. Why wouldn't you want to come to this bigger school? Yeah.
Right. So let's go to, let's do this one first. So this bowl game was actually a good bowl game, and I think a lot of the players were playing. This is South Carolina, Illinois. And it was a good competitive game, but there were a couple things that happened. One of the things that was happening is when the offense substitutes, the defense has to be allowed to substitute if they want.
Okay. Yeah.
And they were almost every time, which doesn't usually happen.
Okay.
And then they were taking their time substituting, and it was affecting the play clock running down.
Yeah.
Now, there's a point in which, like, the referee can put his arms down and kind of move and get the play along, and
Okay.
he could have sped it up,
Okay.
but he didn't. And they were doing it on purpose to slow the game down.
Yeah. To kill the
And
clock.
yes, it was done, which is totally unsportsmanlike. Like, and there could be a penalty for unsportsmanlike. There wasn't. One of the Illinois players got hurt near the South Carolina sideline.
Okay.
Their big fat fucking coach, Brett Belima, and he's a fucking cow. Okay. Totally undisciplined, big overweight human being.
Okay.
And I just
not a big fan of him.
I didn't really give two shits one way or the other before, but now
now
I'm going to root against any team that plays Illinois for as long as he's the coach there. I absolutely.
So you think this falls back more on the coach?
I'm all for doing all you can do to win a game and stuff like that. But he finally went over. He crossed the line.
Okay.
He crossed the line. And I just know how I was as a coach. And if somebody would have done that shit to me, oh my God. And you'll see it. We'll show the video. You can even see it. The South Carolina coach was just beside himself. Yeah, go ahead and play it. What was it?
So you can talk over it. Well,
yeah, I can do that.
I don't think there's
so look at him. Look, so stop it right there. So when he held his arms out, that's actually a referee sign.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And look at what he's doing. He's looking at their players, looking at South Carolina's coach, and he kept putting his arms out. Even that referee is going after him, telling him, like, move it along, dude. Because what he just did was taunt them because he knew that they were upset about the substitution.
Okay.
That's the sign the referee gives this.
To get everyone going.
No, when they're doing the substitution.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So play can't start. The referee's arms are out, not till they're down. So he's doing that. Go ahead.
And then just starts walking away.
Well, and he's see, like you see the coach come out now after because he saw him do that.
Wait. So is he on the opposite side of the field?
He came over there because his player was hurt.
Oh, so okay. So we're on the side of South Carolina. Gotcha. Okay. So I think that messed me up a little bit.
Yeah. So he came over to taunt. And if a player taunts,
it's one thing.
What? No. If a player taunts and, like, say you score a touchdown and you flip the ball at the other player, you taunt them because you just dogged them, right?
Yeah, it's a penalty.
It's a penalty, dude.
Yeah.
But when are coaches are allowed to taunt without penalty? Since when?
I don't believe that's a thing. No,
I don't know if it's
I don't
a thing.
remember
But
that
but the thing is, we've never seen it before. But it's unsportsmanlike, and they absolutely could have called the penalty if they wanted some kind.
Oh, easily.
And nobody would be like and the dude fucking deserved it.
I mean, look at how much there's a minute 30 left, and they're causing this much.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, I personally, from a ref standpoint, I would have definitely been okay with someone getting a penalty for this amount.
Well, and then in the game, there was a point in the game where, teams are allowed to shift sideways.
Okay.
And one technique that I've seen more this year in the professional and in the college ranks is they'll do this shift before the ball snapped to try to draw the offense to
jump.
Be offsides, to jump offsides, right? And it's pretty effective. It's been pretty effective. South Carolina did it, and they called the penalty on South Carolina. Illinois did it, and the penalty was on South Carolina.
Because they jumped offsides?
Yes.
So do you think
I don't know. They're just bad calls.
Gotcha.
They're just bad calls. They just did. I mean, and you got to expect that. You got to play through bad calls.
Yeah.
It's a thing, but this was just an ongoing thing through this whole game. Now, one of the things they could have done is substitute less
Yeah.
so that the other team wouldn't have had that opportunity. But still, they shouldn't have to do that.
To that point, yeah.
To that point. It was just really crazy. And it was just shitty. It's just being a shitty person.
No, yeah. And it's because in soccer, I don't know if it's a pretty common thing, whether like, especially in a really important game where if you're up 1 or 2 goals, you're time wasting as much as you possibly can. So it wasn't necessarily, or at least from a soccer standpoint, right?
Okay.
Like it's a pretty common practice. Either team, whoever's winning, it's a common practice. So like, but it's more of the taunt itself, not necessarily that they were wasting time.
Well, let's see. Here's the difference between that and soccer, because I actually know soccer.
Okay, all right.
Is the referees can add time.
Correct. Not to a full extent, though.
No, like but they will. But they might add two. They might add 2 extra minutes.
Gotcha.
Because of that stuff going on.
So in football, you don't get any additional time. Yeah, that makes a lot of. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
That's the difference.
That is a really big difference. Actually.
Yeah, that is the difference. But they do try. You're absolutely
that was my favorite thing to do.
and the flopping. But the thing is, the best way to take care of that.
Yeah.
When is replay.
Yeah.
And you see that it's a flop, that the dude wasn't even touched, okay, is that you card him then.
Yeah, they get penalized. In the past, it wasn't a thing, but
but they should, because then it'll keep it in line, because
they do now.
Right.
It is currently a rule, and they do get yellow cards nowadays.
And they should.
Yes, they should.
And they should. That's the thing.
No,
but sometimes rules change because
of players,
or coaches or whatever, and this is one of those things. And
you think it's gonna big effect on it?
It'll be dealt with.
I like that.
I really believe so, because it was just ridiculous. That's just not. It's just not what I want to teach kids.
Yeah,
and how you play the game.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
And again, you can't ask the kids to not do something,
and then
but then the coach can do it.
Yeah,
that's just not acceptable, And whatever, these games they need to make these games somehow important again, because they're not.
Yeah, is that the biggest thing?
At all? And that's been happening over a few years, but now it's really hit a new low. Where, what are we even playing these games for? Why?
Just for a little bit of ticket sales and stuff like that?
I don't know. I mean, why? Because eventually you are going to affect the fans. The fans aren't going to be as
excited
or travel or do those things, because why? I'm not going to spend. Well, even Dawn and I, so we had probably $500 in tickets for 2 tickets. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
500, but and especially for a playoff game, and there were tickets that were more, but we spent 500. We drove an hour away. We came back. We didn't have any hotel expense. We probably spent $50. At the game, and then probably another little over 100 after the game on dinner at Texas Roadhouse.
Okay.
There's a Texas Roadhouse right near there where we park. So we did that. So, $650.
That's not bad.
For 2 people.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
But when I've traveled, like last year, well, actually it was this year. So I actually went to 2 bowl games in a year. Because I went to the Rose Bowl last year, which was on January 1st, and then I went to the Fiesta Bowl, which was on December 31st. So it was much more expensive. Now, I drove to L.A. Or Beverly Hills, stayed at a 5-star hotel, spent easily more on tickets. I don't remember. I don't know, probably $1,500, probably, I would guess, each, or $2,000. I don't remember what I spent, but it was a lot more than this was, because that was a semifinal game, because you just had the 4 teams last year. So, and then, food, ate at the best places there. I mean, I probably dropped $10,000 in a 4-day weekend going to the Rose Bowl last year. But I'm not gonna spend $5,000 to $10,000 to go to a bowl game that's not an important game.
I get
I'm
where you're
just
coming
not.
from now. So it's not necessarily like that it's just like the travel. Like a lot of people spend a lot of money on the traveling to go see.
Well, yeah, because now in the playoffs you have the first round, right?
Yeah.
Where it's the one of the teams is basically getting a home game. It's at their home stadium. But for all these bowl games,
do they just have
both
them in
teams
random
have to
places?
both teams have to travel.
Okay.
You know, and sometimes some teams have to travel further than ours, you know, but they play bowl games in Alabama and Florida and New Orleans,
Well, bowl games are
Texas,
just random.
Arizona.
Or do
Well,
they?
not random.
They
like
have them
they
pre-selected
pick.
over the years, but they're random states, is what I meant to say.
Yeah, like there's certain bowls that have been at certain locations forever. Now, what's random is what teams you get each year.
Yeah, I guess that's what I meant.
Yeah, the teams you get is random each year. And there's so many bowl games that they make it like you can be like 6-6 and still go to a bowl game.
Gotcha. So
Okay,
it
you
devalues the like
That does too. Yeah. But I'm just like, again, why is somebody going to go to that
spend money and like take their
bowl
time
game
off to go watch
it
a
doesn't
game.
matter.
Yeah.
Like if the people on the team you root for, just a good chunk of them decide not to play. Why?
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Why am I going to spend my money on that if it doesn't matter? The playoff games are a little different because they matter.
Yeah.
They matter. Yeah. So let's go to my Facebook. So let me set this up again. And I put in $500 before the season.
Okay.
I put in another $500 because I was almost out of money, or maybe wasn't even out of money. I put in another 500, and then I put in a third 500.
Okay.
So in this DraftKings account, I've invested $1,500.
Okay. Total.
And then since that time, it's been up and down all over the place, where I've been almost broke again, but I've never added any more money.
Okay.
And I've gotten to 2,000, I've gotten to 2,500, and I was going backwards again last week until Monday night.
Okay.
I placed 4 bets Monday night. This was one of them. This was Missouri and Iowa. And Missouri won. 25 paid 47. In this case, hockey, the Winnipeg Jets and the Panthers. And then my big one. I bet $625.
I didn't even see that number there.
And dude, and I hated betting against the 49ers because
I mean, it's kind of.
I obviously root for the Lions.
Yeah.
You know, as long as they're not playing my Steelers.
Team,
And I've been to a shit ton of Lions games over the years, so that's why. But I also like the 49ers because I like Brock Purdy as a person and a player.
Yeah.
I like that he comes from the area here, Queen Creek, where I live. So I hate. But I really thought, even though some people were saying this game was kind of meaningless, and the one that matters most is the next game, which it really does, because Minnesota and the Lions play in the last game of the season, and whoever wins that game is going to be the number 1 seed.
Oh, wow.
And whoever loses that game is going to be the number 5 seed.
1 to 5 is...
Well, dude, you have 3 teams, like with the top 4 teams in the NFC are all from the NFC North. 3.
That's
because you got Green Bay too. Yeah, it's insane. So my bet was that I bet on the Lions to cover, and I think it was like 2.5, or it was 3.5. You see it right there.
Yeah.
So usually I don't bet the cover, right? I don't bet the spread.
No, you're
usually I bet the money line. Okay, but I was going all in on this. So I bet the Lions to cover that spread.
Okay.
I bet on both quarterbacks to get like over 200 yards passing, and they by far surpassed that. And then I bet on Jamar Gibbs to score a touchdown anytime. And how I put that in my favor is they list all the players, okay, that can like potentially score a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then they put numbers on them, okay, that again, the more likely the player is to score,
The lower they're going to be on
the less you're going to win out of it. But the one player out of all of them that was most likely to score
Gibbs.
was Gibbs. Oh, I know. One of the things I didn't bet on Brock Purdy to have 200 yards. I bet on Goff to have 200 yards and 2 or more touchdown passes. And he did. And he did.
Yes, he did.
And then, so with all these scores, it was crazy. And Jahmyr Gibbs played a great game all game. We're at the end of the game. It's super close. And Gibbs, like within the last 4 minutes, I still needed, at the last 4 minutes of the game, I needed Gibbs to score a touchdown.
Huh. So not only did he get Gibbs to score, but also take the dub for the Lions.
Yes.
Nice.
And that happened.
So I bet
that was $625 paid $2,400.
That's a nice little bonus.
So that put me at the end of the night when all my bets were done. Now I had I had 3 other bets too. There was my basketball bet.
Nice little payout.
Yep.
Then it goes back to the Missouri.
Yep. And then hockey. So all 4 of my bets won. So I bet somewhere a little over $700, $750, whatever it was, if you add it up. Yeah, like $750, right around $750, and won like $2,900, something like that.
The payout was good.
Let's see, 25, 2650, 2,700.
No, yeah.
That was right. So that was pretty good, dude. Like, and that put me at like 3,900.
Okay.
Which is way above my 1,500, right?
Yeah, it is.
So I'm playing with house money now, dude. There is nothing I get more excited about than playing with house money.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like I did early in the year with the Baccarat.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that.
This year in Baccarat, it wasn't huge, but, I ended up positive about 10 grand in Baccarat.
Have you been back to the casino recently? I know you went for Thanksgiving, but have you been back since?
Yeah, we didn't bet on Thanksgiving. We just ate.
You just
the,
ate?
the table that I would have played at wasn't open.
Oh, you're right. You did say that. You did say that.
Yep.
Have you had the niche to go and play some Baccarat? Or?
Well, when I was going to play was when we were in I wanted to play. I've never played Baccarat in Vegas.
In Vegas. Okay. All right.
I really wanted to try my strategy in Vegas, and because the limits are different, I think my strategy would work even better there.
Oh, okay.
So, I was
any plans to go back into the future?
Oh, we're going to go to Vegas this year.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of stuff planned. We're going to be doing.
Hell yeah.
I got a couple things on the burner, I was even looking at a cruise.
A cruise. Okay, hell yeah.
Like a 5 or 7 day, probably 7-day cruise. And then in the Caribbean. And then I was also looking at, I just talked to my friend Barry about going to Rocky Point.
Hell yeah.
And renting a place there. When I went there with him before a few years ago, rented a condo that was just
beautiful.
Oh yeah,
I love
it. It was so much better than a hotel room. I mean, it was a full-fledged condo, had everything. And so I want to do some warm. Like also on the potential table could be like Jamaica.
Okay.
It's been a minute since I've been to Jamaica, but we will definitely be doing something.
Some traveling
warm,
this year.
So we'll be going somewhere for
sure.
And that's it. Like I didn't realize I was going to spend that much time on the college football, but I was excited about this. New me, new year, new me. Woo! No. You know what? You can change anytime you want to change. If you want to use this as a time to do it, I'm not against it. Like some people like badmouth that shit. I don't do that. So, but do understand you can change any time you want. And one of the things you can do is hit that subscribe button so you know when this show is going to be. New episodes are on and coming up. And, just finding that real truth. We want to help you find that real truth for yourself and find success for yourself. We want you to be successful. And we all need help in that process. And I need your help. That's hitting that subscribe button. That's asking a friend to subscribe as well. and it's sharing. Nothing more important that as far as helping the show grow as sharing an episode or sharing a clip or something that you liked. And, we all need that kind of stuff. I do that with other shows because I appreciate their content. If you appreciate ours, do us that favor. God bless. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy. So this past year, just a little reflection on this past year. Here's the thing. In so many respects, I have to say that it was a great year.
Okay.
It was also an incredibly hard and difficult year. And I guess the message I want to pass on is people should expect that I talk about that. Should expect life is hard, but that you can have both.
Oh, yeah.
But I've spent I don't really, I'm going to talk about it here, but I don't really focus on the hard. I accept the hard and I work my way through it.
Yeah.
I don't know any other way. But if you go back, my year started out good.
Okay.
But then by March, that's was the beginning at the in April, at the end of April, really. But it had started before that and it had been going on. And I don't want anybody to say, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Troy." No, divorce is the greatest thing. What would be even better would be for it to be final. And did you see what I posted? Look up there. Thank you, Lions. My biggest bet of the year so far, and all 4 bets hit tonight. That bitch that called me a degenerate gambler earlier this year, whatever her name was, I wear that badge right next to the one where Biden called me garbage. I'm such a dick.
You just know how to have fun. That's
I don't care. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm somehow blowing money and wasting money. Get the fuck out of here. I must know something about sports, or how else would I be positive?
Definitely wouldn't be sitting in this house.
Doesn't mean I'm not always right, but I'm right more than I'm wrong.
And that's all that matters, right?
That's what matters.
That's what matters.
That's what matters. And so moving was incredibly difficult, even though I moved in the same neighborhood.
Yeah. There's still a lot that goes behind having to move everything, box it up, move it over,
with everything we have. It was brutal. And it was brutal, and I didn't even do it. I mean, I paid people to do it.
No, but it's still a stressful time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Especially
and business-wise, we've dealt with some things business-wise. I've had to struggle with banks. Nobody knows the struggle with, there's, a shortage of certain drugs around the country and around the world.
Really?
And yeah, it's a thing. And that there is a shortage of materials to make those drugs.
Gotcha.
And people will say all the time, I don't want that stuff made in China. Well, what is made in China, I've told y'all before, if you've listened, is the raw materials. Now, the raw materials come from China, and then it might be made in the U.S. or in the U.K. or Germany or wherever. But
the ingredients itself.
The ingredients itself are still from China. So what do you have to say about that? Oh my God. And so we do need to do something about that as a country. But struggles that nobody else knows about because I don't share that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't even
why
know
would
that,
you care? And be like, okay, Troy. Yeah, it's tough. Big deal. You're tough shit, dude. Nobody's going to feel sorry for me.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking for any sympathy. It just is what it is. But I'm just saying there was as good as business was, there were market difficulties
Gotcha.
that I had to fight through to continue to grow and make the business successful.
Yeah.
And that includes getting my TikTok banned. You know, to some people would say, so the fuck what? Well, when you have 15,000 people and those 15,000 people are generating, you know, easily over $500,000 easily in revenue, in profits. It's a big deal.
It's
a big deal.
Yeah.
So 15,000 might not seem like a lot because you have these influencers out there that have, well, these influencers that'll have 1 million but not make any money.
Yeah.
Just because somebody has a big number doesn't always mean they're making money. Now, they may be able to be monetized and make a little bit, but I'm not monetized.
Yeah.
I'm hustling for everything.
There's a big difference.
And actually helping people improve their lives. And so grateful for that and the messages that I've gotten over this last year. Even one I got recently, I was going to share it and hadn't yet, that one of my clients had, and a number of people do this, where they will talk to me because about their addiction or their issues with
whatever it means,
whatever drug or alcohol.
Yeah.
Because January 18th, that will be 16 years sober for me. And I might be introduced with somebody through their low testosterone levels, but then because they see my social media and stuff, they'll engage me in other ways.
Yeah.
And because of how I present myself on my social media and the podcast here even, and, you know, people feel like they can talk to me, and I'm glad they do. But being able to have an influence, and apparently I had an influence on this person, that he said, like, it didn't hit him right away, but what I said to him, he couldn't not think of.
Okay.
And eventually he took it to heart and made some changes that need to be made, and is now been sober for, you know, a short minute.
Nice.
Which is good.
All because of Mr. Troy.
And it's all, you know, this is the journey that God has me on, and it's things that I think that I'm supposed to do. So, like, I don't do everything for money, because there's no money in that for me. And it takes my time.
Yeah.
Which is the most valuable thing in the world to me. But it is my way of giving back, because I'm grateful for what I do have.
Yeah.
And I know how much better my life has been without alcohol. And, you know, here again, you know, here's another New Year's.
Another year.
No alcohol.
Hell yeah, man.
You know, that I know that I can drive any time of the year, and years where, or at times of the year when you have days like New Year's Eve, like, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving is like a huge drinking day. Huge. Yeah, it's one of the biggest of the year.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because people like are getting together with their families and stuff for Thanksgiving.
So
they come in.
Drink
They come in from out of town or places to see their family, and if they don't live in their hometown anymore, they like to hook up with people that they don't get to see very often, and you'll see parties of 10 at the local,
bars,
you know,
or whatever it be, restaurants or whatever.
Bar, chicken wing place.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
It actually is. It's a huge day.
Especially because the holidays.
And then you have,
you know,
then you have St. Patrick's Day, which real alcoholics call St. Practice Day.
St. Practice Day.
and then y'all got in the business.
The Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. Like, we like to get drunk too.
Hell yeah, we do.
Come drink Modelo.
That ass, though. It's a great time.
Isn't it crazy how popular Modelo is now?
You know what I think caused it to was Corona, because Corona was super popular before the coronavirus came around, and then they plummeted in sales. I don't know if you ever saw that, but they took a huge dump. But Modelo, there was a meme going around where the guy was like, "It's Modelo time, fool!" And ever since then, I've seen nothing but Modelo being advertised. So like,
it's crazy.
The up spike in Modelo over the past few
because
years
besides Corona. Mexican beer, when I was younger,
Uh-huh.
wasn't considered a great beer.
No,
there weren't a
it
lot
was
of great
cheap
beers.
beer. It was cheap beer.
Yeah. And we have plenty of those. It's called Busch Light.
Ugh.
Yeah. Beer. But anyways. So that's been a part, being sober and be able to handle these things, being able to go through a divorce and go through it sober. And it's just a change. And then I had, over a year ago, I had hernia surgery. So that took a while to heal. And then this year, in the summer, I had my knee.
Oh, I forgot about the knee. That's crazy. That did happen. And then you walked into the bank the very next day.
Yep. You just
Partial
tear,
man. The
partial
commitment is
tear,
crazy.
and recovering from that.
Yeah.
And recovering from that at 56 fucking years old. Yeah.
Dedication you had, man. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
And things were going, really good.
Yeah.
And that was a setback. And then later on in the fall,
Yep.
getting COVID and almost dying.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big one. I had a best friend that died this year as well. So just a number of things that, if you just looked at that, you could say that was,
pretty shitty year to most
pretty
people.
shitty year.
Yeah.
But I got to go to Nashville twice to see my daughter this year, which was totally phenomenal. Talked to her yesterday too about football.
Hell yeah.
And, can't wait to do that again this year. Hopefully they can come here to Arizona as well. And then, of course, not really expecting, but, the relationship with Dawn and her being in another city and, and her moving here. And, that was a big commitment on both of our parts. And it's been great for both of us. Not something I was expecting. Yeah, in that way, but also we both feel, and I've talked about it multiple times. I'm always talking about it, the pressure I feel being older and with time, and that I hate nothing more than wasting time. I don't have time to fuck around. And so, like, I get to the point real quick. There's no bullshit with me. I just get there. And that includes in relationships too, because I've been in way too many relationships where, I hate failing at relationships. So I feel like I want to try. I want to make sure that I'm putting in and trying to do on my end what I can control, which is, work on me. But I also know my value.
Yeah.
And I think everyone should learn what their value is. I know, what I offer on a support level, both emotionally and financially.
Yep.
Now, the emotional thing might be, something I have to work on more, and it's not as good as the others, but it's still pretty good.
I would say so.
Yeah. And I think Dawn would. I know she would say so. So that, again, if I just focused on these difficult, bad things or obstacles that were in my way, it would be easily to, like you had said, to come to the conclusion that
it'd be a shitty year.
It was a shitty year.
Yeah.
But the way my business grew, the success of other people who work with me in the business, and how that's changed their lives, the clients that we work with, You know, I got, I bought some other watches.
Hell yeah. Is that one new? I was going to tell you because I did see it was pink, and I don't remember seeing the pink watch in your
No,
collection.
this is not a Rolex. Okay. I love this. I really, really do.
I mean, it's beautiful.
And you know what you'll like? This is called the Messy.
The Messy. Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So this is, and that's why it's the pink too, you know?
Yeah. It's the Miami.
It's one of 250. There's only 250, so it's hard to get.
Nice.
And I was able to get one, and because you can get whatever you want if you're willing to pay for it.
Yes.
I didn't get it at what I would like to have paid for it, but I got it and I wanted it, and this was my Christmas gift to myself.
To yourself? Hell yeah.
This is a Tudor, and Tudor is basically the working man's Rolex.
Okay.
Is what it's considered.
Okay.
Hans Willdorf, who was the creator of Rolex, also created the Tudor.
Gotcha.
So it's the same
different name.
Different, you know, and similar technology and like high quality. He wanted to be able to offer a high quality luxury watch for a little bit less.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's where the Tudor comes in.
Hell yeah.
And this one is already, well, not what I paid for it, but from what it was initially offered is doubled in value. So like but yeah, I got this for Christmas. I had some other purchases throughout the year. I got the Corvette back in, I don't know, February, March, something like that. Yes. I got the Corvette. We started this podcast this past year.
June 4th was the birthday.
And look around at what we have here that people can't see, with the lights that we have now. And we've even, you know, with your help, you know, we've upgraded the lights. We started with one camera.
An iPhone.
Yeah, we actually recorded in the iPhone, didn't we? We started with the iPhone, then we have a Sony camera. Now we have 2 Sony cameras. We're going to get a third.
We didn't have a TV back then. Now we can display
some stuff. We didn't have a TV. We had the Rode, which is nice equipment.
I like Rode. Yeah,
Rode's good equipment. But then I wanted the Ultima because Joe Rogan has the Ultima.
Hell yeah.
And Patrick Bet-David has the Ultima. And so I wanted the Ultima. And I have it. And then, you know, you and working with you and how our relationship has grown too. It's just been, it's been you have to be willing to do the work. So it's a lot like working out. You have to be, when you first work out, you're going to put in that hour and a half that first time, and you're going to look in the mirror and you're not going to see anything.
Yep.
And then you're going to get 4 or 5 days a week. I do 6, sometimes 7, but you're going to do that 4 or 5 days, and that first week, you're still not really going to see a difference. And if you really get lucky, maybe you'll see a pound or so difference by week 2, maybe not, depends on what your goal is. But the journey is likely to be in the range for some type of noticeable transformation, 6 to 12 months. And you have to have faith in the process and do the work without getting the result. And that is exactly what most people cannot handle doing what you and I are doing right now.
You couldn't have explained that any better. Honestly,
thank you.
It gave me goosebumps. That last little line. Yes.
Well, that's what we're doing it without the results, believing in the process, that if we continue to put in the work, there will be a reward for that down the line.
Oh, yeah.
And my way of doing it, and I have gotten this feedback, the number one reason the people who actually do listen to the show like the show is because I'm one of the realest motherfuckers out there. People claim to be real, but I actually am. I'm not saying others aren't, but they're very few and far between.
Ain't no truth like the Troy truth.
And it is, man. And I will spit it and say it, and I'll say shit other motherfuckers won't say, and I'll give takes that other people won't have, because I'm always looking, I'm always questioning, and because I'm curious myself, and because I want to learn more, I want to understand it. And my goal is to understand it so we can share it with other people, whatever that be, or whatever the topic may be. But I believe in the process, and that's why it was so important when you and I started this, that I told you, like, look, dude, I know what this actually is really going to take, and this is what I'm willing to put into it. And, what do they say? Making sausage looks ugly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For a minute, it looks ugly. If somebody's ever cleaned a room like that was just totally trashed, or your garage, when you're halfway through, it looks worse than when you started.
Yep.
You got to just keep going.
Yeah.
And in the end, boom, you'll get the result. And that's kind of the message of the show. My message isn't a get rich quick. My message isn't, I got some course and I'm going to teach you how to become, a billionaire. I do not hate on billionaires, okay? And I can't show somebody how to be a billionaire simply because I'm not one. I can't teach somebody to do something that I haven't done. What I can do is, for the people who have had struggles, maybe some successes and then some losses, and in my case, losing everything and having to fight back, when I was older, it would have been a much better fight at 30, than at 50, the last 6 years. But yeah, I look back, because that's been popping up on my phone.
Really?
It does that on Facebook, the
memories.
Facebook memories,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's the ones 5-6 years ago. And I'm like, and I look at that and like, because that 5-6 years isn't that long.
No, it really isn't.
And I think of all the things that have happened in that period of time. I'm like, holy shit, that's a shit ton of stuff. That was 2 marriages ago. Funny as fuck.
What a way to put it.
Hey,
that's funny.
Ain't nobody more real. I told you, it is what it is. I told you I suck at that stuff.
Gotta love it though.
But just it's a lot, and then to have made that change and move out here and everything, it's harder to move as you get older.
Yes,
it just
is.
is.
You get used to being in the same area.
Well, you put
like
down more roots. It's one of the reasons I didn't move earlier was because I was a financial advisor for 24 years. Now, I could have moved with technology and the way that things are now.
Yeah.
I could be anywhere, and I would have a different take on how I'd run my business. But a good between 80 and 90% of my clients were local.
Yeah.
So I felt like I had to be there.
Gotcha.
And what I was just hoping to do at that point in my life is get to a point where, like my father-in-law, I could be, 6-7 months in Ohio or 5-6 months in Florida.
Yeah.
That was my dream goal at the time. This is better than my original dream goal, because I actually thought that the first year, like I kept my place in Toledo the first year I moved here.
Okay.
And so I had 2 places to but I didn't want to go back. Because I did go back. I went back for 3 months and it was horrible. Like, I did not enjoy myself. I've never felt more like this is where I'm supposed to be in my life, as far as a destination or a place, than here right now. This is the greatest. It's not for everybody. Everybody has their own things, their own likes. Pursue that. This one is mine, though, and I'm 100% sure. Like, there's no mistake. This is where I'm supposed to be, and where I feel the best.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. And that does affect, because I was successful in my business back in Toledo, but with taking that mindset in that difficult situation and putting it here where I get the sunshine and mountains and blue skies. Are you fucking kidding me? Man, I feel like Superman every fucking day. Like, this is great. I am going to slay the day. And that is, that's just where I'm at right now with my drive and the things I want to do. I was talking to a new client in the gym last week, and he's very close to being retired. And he's a little bit older. He's in his early 60s. And I'm like, that's great. Now, if somebody wants to retire and they can, God bless them.
Mm-hmm.
That will never, ever be me.
No.
Ever.
I can never see Troy
ever be me. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
That's not my thing. My thing is, I'm not saying it'll be this or the consult. Could that somehow change and it be something else? Certainly. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be something. I can tell you what it won't be is me retired.
Hell yeah.
Me retired, it was never going to be a thing. So, but I just kind of wanted to like give that snapshot again of the year and what a crazy year it was, but what a fantastic and great year. At least now, I'm closer to being fully recovered.
Yeah.
I still feel like my knee should be better than it is. And
Really?
it's just not, there's something, I don't know what it is. I might have to go back, but I will say that I'm very, very close, but there's something there. And we have a little bit more to check with my heart, but I'm way better. And I don't feel like I'm at risk really with that.
Okay.
But my weights have started to go up. Like I was doing a hack squat machine with no weights on it. Dude, you know how hard that is? Like when you got a woman next to you on another leg machine and she's got a couple plates on there, and I don't even have a plate on there. And then when I did put a plate on there, I put a 10 on each side and then a 5 and then another 10 and then 2 10s and a 5 on each side. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? But I was able to do it. And it's like, that's just it. Like, even for me, whether you're experienced or not experienced, if you don't start, you're not going to make any progress. And I had this conversation with my dad, because he's feeling a lack of energy. It's becoming more and more difficult for him to get around, but he's losing it because he's not using it. And I've been paying for well over a year, probably a couple years now, for that motherfucker to have a membership that he's used maybe 2 or 3 times. Like, dude, even if it's 5 motherfucking minutes,
yeah,
go into the Planet Fitness. If you're out of breath, stop.
Yeah.
Okay, but these people will help you. You can take your fucking oxygen in there. Nobody's going to like fuck with you or make fun of you. People will help. There's one machine in particular that I want him to use that I think is really beneficial for him. But it's like, you got to do something. And he knows he has to do something. And, now that he has a girlfriend, he don't want to die yet, really.
Yeah.
He wants to live. There was a time when he didn't care that much about that. So, yeah, like, look, you got to, like, I've literally told people this. Okay, well, I can't do that. Can you walk to your mailbox? Yeah. Walk to your mailbox the next 2 days. Your mailbox and back. And then the 3rd day, walk to your neighbor's fucking mailbox and back. Whatever. You gotta start somewhere, however shitty that is. It doesn't, and his thing is he's embarrassed. He's embarrassed.
Yeah.
That means he gives a fuck what other people think. And here's the truth. Most people aren't thinking about you. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They got their own shit they're
Yes.
focused on. They are not focused on your shit. So stop not doing something because of someone else who doesn't matter. They do not matter. And even if you think they matter, I'm telling you, they do not matter. It doesn't matter what your daughter thinks. It doesn't matter what your mom thinks. It doesn't matter what your best friend thinks. What's in the best interest of you? Take them out of the equation. If that person's out of the equation, what would you do then? And do that.
Yeah.
It's
I like that.
kind of that easy. So, we just want to. There's other episodes that explain more about my journey and things that I've done, successes that I've had, and then complete failures and losses, both in business and in personal life. What I just want to be an example of is what can happen if you don't quit. Because all along that way, there were people that were, for whatever reason, were happy that Troy wasn't doing well. But I didn't care. And because I didn't care, I've had these successes now. And that's been the greatest revenge in the world. Because that gets under their skin more than, because they haven't done shit. Because no one who ever hates on you is doing better than you. That's just not a normal thing. They have no people that are doing better. They have no reason to. They don't give a fuck. But when somebody is, in this case where somebody is hating on somebody that is doing better, it's personal to them. It's because of their insecurities that they don't want to admit that they're not doing what they should or could be doing. And I've already shown it can be done. So that's really irritating, right? That's really irritating. This guy's done it. Well, you can too. What I've done, okay, we all can't be Elon Musk, but anybody who wants to can do what I've done. That's possible. Maybe, I'm not saying in the same field or anything like that, but just in general, if they apply the principles, they can do it. That is possible. And what I'm saying is it's a good life. It's a hard life, but all life is hard. All life is hard. So if it's going to be hard, wouldn't you like to eat a fucking great meal, the best meal in the world? Okay. Wouldn't you like to, if you want to go to a game at the last minute, be able to go? If you want to fly first class, if you see something that you want to drive, that you don't trade in your vehicle, you just add that one. Why not? It's a pretty good life. And I'm not just saying about things, but why, what else are we doing? Well, we can help people, of course, but I don't think we should tell other people what to do with their money. But why not? Why not? Like, if you're not using your money, you're going to use it it could be to make your child's education better, to get them in a better school. It could be, that you want better clothes to wear. Maybe you don't care about that. That's cool too. But if you're not working for money to be able to get things, it's either going to be things that you need or things that you want.
Yeah.
And once all your needs are covered, then
the wants are going to come in heavy.
Why wouldn't you do what you want?
Yeah.
Why not? If you can. Like I just saw the other day, I guess eggs went back up. That basically eggs are around $5 a dozen. Yeah. And it's probably because of the bird flu or whatever they're telling people. Oh, even conservative, they're driving me insane, dude. Like, shut the motherfuck up about eggs. Either buy them or don't.
Yeah.
You know, buy them or don't.
There's other
But
sources of
stop
protein.
bitching about the fucking eggs. The problem, they don't want to acknowledge it. The problem is you need to make more. It's not the cost of the eggs. It's not the cost of the eggs. I don't give 2 fucks if eggs are $3 or they're $6 because I don't care. If I want eggs, guess what I'm going to do?
Get some eggs.
I'm going to buy some eggs.
Yeah.
So get yourself in a position that you can do what you want. Not just have what you need, do what you want. And whatever it is you want is totally cool. We don't have to be the same. But get to that place where you can do what you want. And I feel like I'm an example of that other people can do that. That people can see that it's almost impossible to see yourself when you're making 60 grand a year as a billionaire. Okay. But at 60 grand a year, you can imagine $500,000. That ain't that far. You can imagine $1 million. That isn't that far. That's the shit that is possible. But are you willing to do the 2 to 8 year work it's going to take to get there? Are you going to do like you're young and this, and you're making some money, but then learning all these other skills that are just going to continue to build, that's going to be able to give you an opportunity to create something in there, or this explodes and then you have part of that as that's what gets you there, whatever it is. So I'm not talking again about overnight, because that's very rare, very hard, and most people, that's not how it happens. And I like to use sports analogies, a lot, because I think sports is our life. So Kim Scattaboo from Arizona State, running back.
Okay, I was about
running back. He wasn't one of the best running backs of the year.
Okay.
Like, just phenomenal kid. And what people don't know about him is that he came from California, and in high school, this kid ran for like 3,400 yards in a season. That's insane, man.
3,400?
3,400, and had like 47 touchdowns.
47? Jesus Christ.
Do you know how many FBS college offers he had?
1.
0.
I
don't know how that's, and his team won the state championship. Dude, I do not know how he does not get a scholarship offer. I don't understand that. There's some things that I don't understand, and that's one. So he ended up going to like a junior college.
Okay.
He ended up going to a junior college. And then like his second year, he ended up getting over 1,000 yards. And then he transferred to Arizona State and did okay, but this year was his breakout year, and he had a great year at Arizona State, and is a huge reason why Arizona State won their conference and is in a quarterfinal playoff game.
Gotcha.
This is a team that was expected to be last in the conference, last in their conference, and became a Final 8 team because they got the bye. There's a Final 8 team. That's incredible, dude. But again, remember when we talked about the doors?
Yeah.
That's the hard door. The easy door is getting recruited by USC. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm just saying that the chances,
the easier way to get
the easier. This is a harder way.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many examples of that in sports. Just so many. Kurt Warner, and his career from college to the NFL, and playing arena football and then getting a chance at Green Bay, fucking it up and getting cut, and just how he just kept going to be someone who, takes his, wins a Super Bowl with the Rams. Just crazy. But just because it's not the typical way does not mean it's not a way. Yeah. There's not one right way. Except for this. The right way is they all kept working. Number one thing they did. Because I think when he finally got the opportunity, if I remember right, with the Rams, I think he was like working at a grocery store. Seriously, man. He went from working in a grocery store to the NFL.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Dude.
Stocking some shelves. Right? Someone comes up. Hey.
Yeah, literally stocking shelves. If you haven't seen that movie, I highly recommend it.
What is the movie called?
I'll look it up. Look up Kurt Warner movie. His life story. It's a great, great movie. Kind of like a little bit of a Christian background movie. Okay.
Oh, American Underdog. I think I have seen this actually.
Fantastic movie. Absolutely fantastic. And a fantastic story. Has a wonderful wife. They're just really good people.
Uh-huh.
And yeah. But there's so many examples of that. And that's always been a part of me, sports. So that's what I see. I see that about the work. I see that about the gym. I see that at 56 years old, how hard it is to recover, but I keep fighting anyways. Some people take a little bit of time off and come back. The only way that I fucking take time off is if I'm forced to, because and then even then I'm trying to figure out and I'm fighting for a way back in. Right?
Yes, you do.
Like I've taken crutches into the gym, motherfucker.
Oh man, yeah, that's
but
funny.
that's I don't know any other way.
Yeah.
And I don't bitch about the fact that it feels like it's a little bit harder for me. And we see just the outside of other people, but sometimes we see it. We don't know what's going on. It could be super hard for them too, and we just don't see it. But we see like, well, that person seems to have it easier. Why do I always have to struggle? Man, I do not focus on that because that's not going to help me get it is what it is.
Yeah.
I accepted that fact that to be able to compete in sports as a youth, that I had to work harder than some of my peers.
Yeah.
To be able to step on the field and be somebody they can count on and be as good as they were. It wasn't because I had this natural talent. It was because of the work that I was willing to do.
Yeah.
That was the difference. And the heart, man. My fucking heart, man. I was like, man, if this heart would have been put in the right talented body. Yeah, it's a professional heart, just not a professional body. It's a professional heart, man.
I love it. I'm gonna start using that.
Yeah, you like that?
Professional heart.
Professional
I really
man.
like that.
I got that.
Like
And that's all. That's all. That's what I want the best for people. And what I'm seeing now still is so many shitty motherfuckers. Like I really, some of the people you mentioned, X and Twitter, and I see some of these people, like there are literally people that are Democrats that are saying that Musk, Trump, and Russia changed the votes. They got into the ballot machines and they changed the votes and rigged the election, which is insane. And it's mainly insane because if a Republican says it, then oh my God,
they're crazy.
They're crazy. But you motherfuckers are allowed to say it. And there's still a whole bunch of them that are clinging to this belief that Trump is not going to, the electoral college process, and that they're
going to find some way
to keep him from taking into office.
That's not happening.
and when that doesn't happen, I don't know, how are they going to be able to accept that? because they're not even close to acceptance stage. They are literally the craziest, nuttiest shit you've ever seen.
It's gonna be an interesting start.
I want to see. Like, in fact, I want to ask him. I try to ask. Like,
I try to ask.
I'm just not good at asking it nicely. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do when it doesn't work out like that? Are you gonna? I mean, we're be okay.
Hey, we're not far from finding the truth. We're not far from.
No, we are not.
Oh man, I'm interested to find out too.
Oh, Musk is a Russian asset. Everybody's a Russian asset. Oh, Trump said he was gonna fix the Ukraine war, and now they rejected. Like, dude, he ain't even sworn in yet. But I'm not. Trump may say shit because he always does. This is gonna happen on day one. Okay, it's not gonna happen on day one. But if it happens on day 30, it's a great thing. But you motherfuckers are going to put it down because it took him 29 days longer than he said. Shut the fuck. Do you know how stupid that is, dude? But that's really where we're at right now. That's
exactly what they're going to be saying.
That's where we're at right now.
The end of day one, they're going to be like, oh, he didn't do what he used to.
He didn't do this. He didn't do this. He didn't do this.
Yeah, you're not wrong, though. The funny part is that you're not wrong. That's the headlines for the day after. You're not even joking, which is the funny part. Yeah.
Nope. Not joking. Not joking.
That's funny. Oh man.
I don't know.
2025, man. It's gonna be a good year. It's gonna be a good year.
Yes, it is. It's gonna be a good year. Because I don't know any other way. We're gonna just keep going, keep growing, keep doing this, and come along for the ride. We hope that you do. I appreciate your time. Chase appreciates your time that you give us. And just Happy New Year. And let's go fucking get it. All right? God bless. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy.
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah. Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say, I got him picking up the pieces. That mean you really playing with your life.